like I'm going to list a bunch of like Sharks what ifs in their history, and I just want you to first tell me what stands out to you. So,
I like this. All right, here we go. It's a game show. I got to make some sound effects. What do we need here? Let's go.
The league screwing them out of Lindros in 91.
Oh,
that what if?
Yep.
That's a plausible conspiracy theory.
Well,
that's one.
what if they get the number one pick in like the lottery this year and they get Bedard? Could we cancel out the whole 91 thing if it works out for us in 2023?
If he becomes a 50-50 guy, yeah. So Lindros is the first one.
Right.
The second is if you could say, I mean, you brought up the Solani if he scores on the wraparound against the Avalanche, but I don't think they beat the Red Wings, so I won't harp on that too much.
Yeah, but it was right there. It was right there, and it's Teemu Solani. Like, that doesn't happen 10 times out of 10. It doesn't happen 9 times out of 10, that he misses.
No, I'm just saying I don't think they get past Detroit. But
yeah.
The 03 draft is always an interesting one because, yes, they did get Pavelski late. It's one of the best picks ever.
Right.
But they should have, like a lot of people thought they were going to draft Ryan Suter. They draft Mahalik. He was good but inconsistent. And then they draft Steve Bernier ahead of Parise. Imagine if you have Suter and Parise instead of in Minnesota, you have them with the Sharks on cheap deals for their prime. So that's another what if. The 06 playoffs, when Rafi Torres takes Mahalik's head off, do they win the cup with how Chichu and Thornton were playing that year? Do they win the cup if Mahalik is healthy and Torres gets suspended or just doesn't take his head off? Because Edmonton was running on the heater with Rolison, and I think the Sharks were the better team, and they might have beaten the Ducks as well that year because the Ducks didn't have Pronger. 07, if you remember in Game 4 against the Red Wings, in the second round, they're about to go up 3-1, and then Nabokov misses the glove save on Robert Lang. That's a big one. And then I think it was, I forget if it was McLaren or Hannon who didn't get the clear, and then they lost in overtime on the Schneider.
Hey, no blaming Scott Hannon or Kyle McLaren, my TV buddies out here.
But I'm just saying.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, what year was the Dallas 8 overtime game? It was like 2000.
That's 08.
08. Okay.
That's 08. That's when Brendan Morrow ran over Mahalik.
Yep. Sorry, I knew you were. I knew we were on the cusp of getting to that one. Probably.
Yeah. So that's a good one, but I guess 2015 is the 5% chance of McDavid in that lottery because they missed the playoffs. They were 9th in the lottery standing.
Right.
Imagine if they win that. They win the cup next year, or they win the cup in 18 or 19.
Yeah, well,
that's a good one.
Having Conor McDavid as part of that 2016 team or 15-16 team that went, you're right. That would have pushed them over the McDavid and Crosby, Sharks and Penguins.
The Sharks become a dynasty.
Right?
The Sharks, they win 3 and 4. The official dynasty definition that Gary Bettman in the league says 3 and 4.
But you know what?
3 and 4.
Finishing where they did and not getting the number one pick. You shouldn't get the number one pick to finish where they did.
It's a fascinating what if that bloggers should be writing about because they were the team that just had the one-off bad year and then went right back up.
And that was the reverse. That was the reverse sweep year, right? Where they won the first 3 against LA. And then got swept out.
They got reverse swept in.
Oh, no, I take it back. You're right. They missed the playoffs entirely. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs.
Sorry.
You're right. Because.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Oh, and how about this? To that point, if they had got Conor McDavid, that's one of those situations where you could say everything else they did still stands because a draft pick is a free pick. It's a free play. Now, you would have to pay him eventually, right? You'd have to pay him out and fit him under a salary cap. But initially, you didn't have to give up anything to get that, right? So they could have had the same team that they built to go to the Stanley Cup final plus Conor McDavid.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because he would have been on an ELC 925.
Right.
He was on an 88 to whatever pace with the injury, and so he doesn't get hurt. Brandon Manning doesn't take him out if he's playing in San Jose.
Right.
So he scores 100 points, making $925K. You win the cup, but you have that contract in 16, 17, and 18 at $925K. And potentially, you're a dynasty, and then maybe you're only paying him $7 or $8 million. Who knows, based on how much he's scoring and whatnot. So that's a good one.
You realize how depressing this is. You realize how depressing our conversation is right now, right?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating.
No, it is. It is. It really is. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I like this.
And then, 2011 and 2019, they just run out of gas because they're hurt to hell, basically.
That's
Yeah.
in all the playoff years that they had, in all the different series, whether it was against Chicago in the conference final in 2010 or Van against them in 2011. I forget how they got eliminated in 2012. Was it the Kings, I think?
No, that was Blues. That's when
St. Louis
Vlasic had the own goal. Yeah, because they win game one on the half.
That's right, Marty.
Then Vlasic puts in his own net, and then they weren't that good. That's the year where Giroux freaked out on Ray, whatever, I forget his last name, the beat reporter or media guy.
Oh, Ray Ratto. Yeah, you just go out and win the game, Ray.
Yeah, because they were going to miss the playoffs, and then they got hot.
Oh, yeah.
Freaked out because they didn't deserve it, according to Drew, and Ray was making excuses.
That was in a game in Arizona. I was actually on the trip, and I remember hearing that happening. I was like, wait, are they off air or on air right now having this spat? And you know what's crazy? I just asked you about how 2012 ended. I was in St. Louis for that unfortunate ending to a series, so I should have known better. I'm getting old, and there have been too many years. But you're right, and just to go back to the point, though, I think people always say, what were they missing in all of those years? Was it a player?
They're one player away.
Yeah, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. It was not that their roster didn't have the player. What you said earlier, they always had somebody hurt. And I told Todd McClellan this right after he and the Sharks parted ways. I said, you know what, Todd, I feel bad for you because you never had one player just take a team on their back. No, in fairness, it was not Antiniemi. It was never necessarily a goaltender who was just like unbelievably sizzling red hot. It was never that. But it was also never one player who had a 14-point series. Like it never really happened that somebody took a team on their back. But I'm here to say, I think it was health.
Couture in 16.
Yeah.
Couture in 16 the team on his back.
I would agree with that. But it didn't lead to all the way, right? And what I'm saying is they had the teams a lot of the times. They just never had the healthy teams at the very end. And nobody's healthy at the end. I know, I'm not making that excuse, but they always had somebody who was so debilitated injury-wise that they were not the same team. It was a shell of the team that you saw on opening night and a shell of the team that won, put up 112 points in a season or whatever. So I think they were never one player like short, like they didn't have the players. I think they were always too injured.